Hi, today I'm going to be reading from one of my favorite authors, another one of my favorite authors named Emily Dickinson. And I'm going to give you a quick preview of who she was as a poet. So here's the introduction of Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers, wrote Emily Dickinson. She wrote about hope as well as flowers, birds, people, life, and death, ordinary things. But she had such a vivid imagination that she seemed to get inside these things and look at them in a new way. Because she had imagination, Emily would write about places she had never been and things she had never seen. So I'm going to start with one of her poems that talks about hope. And so this is how it starts. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest of the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. It's all I have to bring today, this and my heart beside, this and my heart in all the fields and all the meadows wide. Be sure you count, should I forget, someone the sum would tell, this and my heart and all the bees, which is the clover dwell. Another poem is about the sea. Like we heard, she has an imagination, and so this is about an encounter with a mermaid. I started early, took my dog, and visited the sea. The mermaids in the basement came out to look at me, and frigates in the upper floor extended hempen hands, presuming me to be a mouse aground upon the stands. But no man moved me till the tide went past my simple shoe, and past my apron and my belt, and past my bodice too, and made as he would eat me up, and wholly as a dew, upon the dandelion sleeve, and then I started too. And he followed close behind. I felt his silver heel upon my ankle, then my shoes would overflow with pearl. Until we met that solid town, no one he seemed to know, and bowing with a mighty look at me, the sea withdrew. So it's talking about the sea almost being a type of being, so like kind of like a human. And so taking a look at this type of poetry, this is prose and is just kind of talking about her imagination. And I wanted to talk about a couple of elements of a poem. If we're taking a look at this poem, we can look at the different sections. And so here is section 1, section 2, section 3. And these are called, these different sections are paragraphs, but for this poem, we look at each line not as a sentence, but kind of as a thought or an idea. And so this is, if you take a look here, is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. And so this is kind of how we can look and break apart the poem by lines. Okay, I'll read another one. This is talking about her greeting spring. Dear March, come in. How glad I am. I asked you before. And so this looks like it's a letter. And this letter is written by a bee. Or, sorry, a fly. And so this is a story of a fly writing a letter to a bee. So if you can imagine that as I'm reading it. Sorry. Dear March, come in. How glad I am. I looked for you before. Put down your hat. You must have walked. How about a breath? How out of breath you are. Dear March, how are you? And the rest? Did you leave nature well? Oh, March, come right upstairs with me. I have so much to tell. I got your letter, and the birds in the maples never knew that you were coming, I declare. How red their faces grew. But March, forgive me, all those hills you left for me to hew. There was no purple suitable, you took it all with you. Who knocks? That April? Lock the door. I will not be pursued. He stayed away a year to call when I am occupied. But trifles look so trivial as soon as you have come. That blame is just as dear as praise, and praise is mere a blame. Bee, I'm expecting you, was saying yesterday to somebody you knew that you were due. The frogs got home last week, are settled and at work. Birds mostly black, the clover warm and thick. You'll get my letter by the 17th. Reply, or better, be with me. Sincerely, your fly. So I was just thinking about this poem with spring coming. We'll be seeing flies, bees, and of course the frogs. I've been hearing the frogs singing out in the field and in the wetlands near my house, and I thought that Emily Dickinson does a nice job talking about spring and her imagination. So I hope that you enjoyed this today.